I got this shirt on and off because it is warm. This is like sorry. Alright. Hello everyone, this is Venom with We Have Blended Entertainment, and today I had planned to do a live stream with Star Wars, but some stuff happened today and we need to talk about the state of gaming because right now I am pissed, I'm depressed, I am in a lull. Give me, hold on, let me grab a beer. We're gonna need a beer to talk about this. Arcus, get down, Daddy's streaming. Come on. Come on, boy. You just do not care about anything I say, do you? Get off the computer. You're gonna get cold beer shoved up your butt. Alright, sorry about that. Okay, so I don't really need the headphones on either. Okay, so let me tell you guys a little story here. This actually happened yesterday, but I've been kinda... Today, this article that dropped from Jason Schreier at Kotaku really kinda hit things home. For those that don't know, Jason Schreier, writer for Kotaku, has made some pretty groundbreaking discoveries in gaming. He writes some pretty good articles. Whether you like the guy himself or not, he's done some excellent work as a journalist, and has brought quite a few things in gaming to light. People have had issues with him personally. That's neither here nor there. I've never had any issues with him. I've heard some stuff he said. I've seen some tweets. Whatever. What I'm trying to get across is his journalism has been on point. This guy's broken a lot of huge stories. So, yesterday, and these guys aren't involved in it, I just want to kind of prove a point. Well, I'm not going to say their name, but a gaming channel I watch quite a bit, fairly big gaming channel, did an episode where they were playing a game called Stationary. No, I'm sorry, Satisfactory. Why do I keep saying Stationary? A game called Satisfactory. It's one I've been kind of interested in checking out. It was kind of a crafting survival game. Slightly different take on the crafting survival genre, where your job was to go down to a planet, and your job was to collect resources to send up into space. You were basically tasked with making a factory on this planet. And, you know, it looked decent, looked like something I could kind of sink my teeth into. And while I'm talking about this, I'm going to pull this up too. Sorry, give me 1 second here. And, yeah, I was pretty interested in the game. Let me pause this here. I don't want this sound to come up. So, I come home for lunch, go to check out the game on Steam, and lo and behold, I can't find it on the search bar. I can pull up my Steam here, too, so I can show you guys. I went to go search for, you know, of course, Steam is where you tend to go. What's wrong? S-A-T-I-S-F-S-E-T. So I go to search for Satisfactory, nothing pops up. You know, it's supposed to be an early access game, so I figure, hey, maybe it won't pop up there. I go through here and nothing. And now, I in the back of my head, I'm like, okay, something's wrong here because they just released this episode. Do they have codes for the early access? What's going on? So I search Google, and come to find out, Satisfactory is releasing on the Epic's game launcher exclusively, another year-long exclusivity deal. So, of course, I pull up the video, and here's a video here. I guess this is from, who is this fucker? There we go, Q&A, Satisfactory exclusive to Epic Game Store. Who's this guy? Coffee Stain. I guess these are the guys that made Satisfactory, but you can see this fucktard here with his fucking blue hair and fucking double, whatever. Dude looks like a douche, but whatever. I shouldn't be making fun of it. It's neither here nor there. Basically goes through and talks about why they made this an Epic Store exclusive, which is exactly what you think it is. Money. Sorry, wife just brought food in. Yeah, they basically go through and admit that they're making it the one-year deal for money, which is what we know it's going to be. They get a higher percentage in the Epic's Game Store, even though the Epic Game Launcher it's got like nothing on it as far as features. It's been spying on people's Steam accounts, basically. And again, go check out that the video Yang Ye did on it. He did a very good job going over all the data from it, or compiling all the data that people found for it. Basically, people hate the Epic Game Store launch. I'm not going to park too much on that specific thing. But, yeah, it was getting released on there exclusively. Another game just for that launcher. Again, recently here, Phoenix Point, which had been advertised for Steam, and it was actually a crowdfunded game where they promised in their FAQ that you could get the game on Steam or GOG. And at the last minute, at 0 hour, they backed out of that and signed a 1-year exclusivity deal with Epic, pissing off all their backers, not to mention everybody else who wanted to play the game who didn't back it. Basically pissing off everybody. And they essentially ended up lying to their backers. I mean, they promised that the game would come out on Steam. Now it's coming out on Epic, period. Keep in mind, Epic didn't even exist. The Game Store didn't exist back when this started production, I believe. But coming out on Epic Launcher only for a year. Another recent game here that people have been, especially me, been a little pissed off about, The Outer Worlds. It's going to be another Epic Store only release, and with The Outer Worlds, it's even worse because it's coming out on everything but Steam. It's even coming out in the Microsoft Store. So that's, I mean, it's a direct counter to Steam. Come on, buddy. Cats love walking in front of me when I'm trying to work. But no, okay, you just walked across once here, buddy. You walk in front of me again, you're gonna be on camera. Okay, well, I promised you. Oh, come here, little buddy. Oh, nope, camera, move them claws. Yep, you're gonna be on camera. You're gonna be famous now. Say hi, Storm. This is what happens, buddy. This is what happens. You look really freaked out now that you know you're in camera. Oh, you're looking at mommy. Okay. But The Outer Worlds, which is being made by Obsidian, again, the guys that made Fallout New Vegas, people were super excited about this game because they announced this game right when Fallout 76 was coming out, and people thought it was a dumpster fire. People were super happy that they were making a new single-player RPG, basically. And then turns out it's coming out just on Epic. Oh, I'm sorry, not just on Epic, on everywhere but Steam. Keep in mind that the trailer for The Outer Worlds at the end showed it was coming out on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Steam. So, yeah, basically more and more games are being bought out by Epic, basically, for that 1-year exclusive, and it all comes down to money. Now, I do understand that publishers, or that, you know, these companies are getting a higher percentage of sales from the Epic Game Store, but that's only going to last so long. One, Steam doesn't just provide, and a few YouTubers have made a pretty good point on this. I'm not saying I need that huge of a cut, but Steam doesn't just provide, you know, a store window. They provide forums, they provide customer support, they provide a ton of different games, whether good or bad. People have all their games in one library already. I'm not saying that Steam doesn't need a competitor. Yes, they do. I don't have a problem with Epic's game or Epic Game Launcher being a competitor, but they're not competing right now. They are trying to monopolize big titles coming out, titles people want, and in some cases, titles people were promised to be on other platforms. They're monopolizing those titles. They didn't make them, and it's basically being fueled by Fortnite money right now. That's how they're able to essentially buy up all these games, because they're making tons of money hand over fist with Fortnite. If it wasn't for Fortnite, they wouldn't be able to do this more than likely. So anyway, I came home, saw that Satisfactory was coming out exclusively on Epic Games. Let's hear what this guy says about it.
Someone just told me that on Kotaku that they spelled my last name V-A-R-L-A-Y.
What's this fucker's actual name? Does it show on here?
Hi, my name's Jace. I'm a programmer and the community manager here at Coffee Stain Studios. And
here we go. Coffee Stain Studio, and he's a programmer. Is Jace Varley.
What are you doing?
Okay, so programmer and community manager. So this is a Q&A that they put out when they announced, and I guess this was back in December. I didn't realize this until yesterday. So, but this is a Q&A they put out when people found out that this was going to be an Epic's game exclusive. So,
recently,
put to
you may
this.
have heard that Satisfactory will be an Epic Game Store exclusive title. A lot of people all over the internet had questions about that, so I'm going to answer them for you now. It's going to be a long video, so let's just jump.
Let me make sure my sound is Jace Varley.
What are you doing?
Okay, so programmer and community manager. So this is a Q&A that they. Okay, sounds good.
Let's go. Who forced you to do this? No one. We just chose to do it.
Okay, so right there, one of the first questions is, who forced you to do it? Now, and a lot of times the publisher has been forcing these games to come out. Apparently, the Obsidian didn't even know this was going to be an exclusive to Epic until right when we did. So these guys, the programmers, found out right when we did. It was a publisher that made this exclusive deal. So I'm forgiving Obsidian on that one. So The publisher, I don't remember who the publisher is, but these guys had no idea about it. Now, this fucker, these guys at Satisfactory, they did. They chose us, apparently, just from what this guy is saying. But I'm not going to go through the whole video, but I want to get a couple key points across. So let's keep going with this.
But then why? Yeah, so we have a bunch of reasons why we went with the Epic Games Store. And one of the first reasons is because we have a long working relationship with Epic. Since the very beginning of Coffee Stain, we've only been using Unreal Engine, apart from like a couple mobile games.
Okay, so far he's talking about that he has they've got a good working relationship with Epic. Okay, good enough. That's a good enough reason to offer your game on the Epic Game Launcher. I can understand a lot of games not wanting to offer their games on the Epic Game Launcher at all because of, the stigma of, the Epic Game Launcher right now. I can see you wanting to, still having your game on Steam and everywhere else, but not wanting to put it on Epic because you don't want it associated with that. I could also understand you making a decision to offer it on there, not exclusively, but to go ahead and offer it because you've had such a good working relationship. So far, I can let that one go, but as far as exclusivity, still can't let that one go. So let's see why else he claims.
So we have a really good relationship.
And by the way, when I say claims, I have no reason to doubt what he's saying, but I'm also going to break down what it is he's saying as well.
There with Epic. Another thing is
don't so much better for you.
There's an option, like another option, which then only focuses on giving sort of quality curated titles. So that's
okay. He just said he likes it as an option. The problem is he's not giving anybody options with this choice. There's one option, and that's to go to Epic Games right now. That's not options. It is maybe an option for him to put his game there, but he's not giving the players options at all. Okay, so I want to make sure we kind of harp on that part right there, the options portion. You're not giving us options, it's an option for you. So let's make sure, again, I'm not saying that's a good or bad thing, I just want to break down what it is he's saying, but we'll keep going.
That's kind of cool. Another thing is the revenue share. Obviously, it is better than other places, and what we would like to be a part of is trying to set that as a new standard.
Right there, two things. Part is what he said before I pause it. He talked about curated games. One of the biggest problems Steam has had is that they've had so many shitty games that have been allowed onto the platform. It has become a problem. Tons of asset flip games, tons of games that are literally just reskins of other games that have been put out. Games that are essentially straight up porn, which again, not a problem, but if you say, hey, this is a zombie shooter, and you open it up and it's straight up porno, okay, that's kind of a problem. Again, I got no problem with adult games. And I don't honestly see a problem why you can't have. I don't see why having an adult game is a bad thing to have on there. If I'm a store and I want to sell games, well, I want to have the most amount of quality games I can put out. That being said, quality is the key here. Steam's got an issue with quality control. It's been a huge point of contention with them and their player base for a while now. A lot of shitty games getting put on Steam. But again, you're basically cutting out a whole subsection. And again, maybe there's not a lot of people that buy adult games, but I don't see an issue having an adult game section. But if that's their choice, okay, fine. And let me back up. What's the second part of what he said here? It was
another option, which then only focuses on giving sort of quality curated.
Oh, that's right, the revenue share. And again, I completely agree. We're setting a new standard for revenue sharing. That being said, again, right now, Epic's only able to share this much revenue. Like right now, if you were to take all of Steam's games, let's say, Epic Launcher is just today, boom, they've got hundreds of thousands of games, all quality games on their launcher. The whole platform is great. They got the shopping cart, they got everything fixed. It is a real, let's say it's Steam, but perfect, everything we want. I can almost guarantee that 5% that they're taking for themselves is going to grow because they've got to pay for things like that forum support, the player support. You've got to pay for the curation of the games. You've got to pay for just customer support in general. You got to pay those additional things. Right now, there's not a lot of stuff on the Epic Store. They don't got a whole lot they got to pay, but I can guarantee once they get bigger, that standard is going to grow back. Now, I don't think it's going to be the 30%. I believe that it's being taken off of Steam right now. but I can almost guarantee it's not going to be that 5% it is now too. So again, I like the competition part of the Epic Game Launcher. Do not like the part where it's just a monopoly right now, which is what it is. So an industry standard is one thing. If it's not going to work if you're just monopolizing games, though. No, we're continuing. We're going to go on for a couple more minutes.
Titles, so that's kind of cool. Another thing is the revenue share. Obviously, it is better than other places, and what we would like to be a part of is trying to set that as a new standard for the industry, which would be super cool. Having said all that, who knows? Maybe it's no good. Maybe this just doesn't work out, crashes and burns. We have no idea. We can't predict the future. So we're going to be evaluating this as we go.
Very interesting, I might add, that he said this. He admits that this might crash and burn. He has no idea, and right now everyone is riled up over the Epic Game Launcher. As a businessman, it doesn't make sense to me to lock myself into... If I made the game, if I made Satisfactory myself, and I had the option to release it on all the platforms, you know, as normal, with the option to put it on the Epic Game Store as well, not as an exclusive, or only lock myself into the Epic Game Launcher with a 1-year exclusivity contract, and it's up in the air if that's even going to work or not. That makes no sense from a business standpoint unless the money they're getting is just that good. I don't think anyone in their right mind would do that. I mean, that's just not one I can get over from a business standpoint. I mean, you're flipping a coin on your business at that point. I mean, you've got the game, you're in the point where you're in early access, and the game there's quite a bit of the game out from what I understand. This idea that they're just going to write it out and see what happens, it doesn't make any sense to me. Now, maybe someone else in the game industry can let me know, exactly how Epic is injecting money to these companies, or exactly how this profit sharing is working, or what it is that they're, like, how good are these contracts that these guys are comfortable flipping the coin on their game, basically. Especially seeing how much hate that they're getting. I mean, here, look at this. 3.7 thousand up likes, 3.8 thousand downvotes. I mean, that's more than half of the people downvoted your game, or downvoted your video. That's pretty bad. I mean, about 10% downvotes on a video of any kind, that's about average, maybe a little bit lower than that, but more than 50%, that's pretty bad. I mean, this isn't even, that can't even constitute troll numbers. I mean, that is bad. But we'll keep going.
Hopefully things work out. So that's all the reasons why. I'm kidding. Yeah, we got cash money.
Boom, there it is, and he's honest. They got cash, and that's, I mean, there it is. That's the entire video could have just been that 10-second part there. They got money. That's why they're doing it, for money. And that's kind of the point I wanted to get to. That we're do more. I'll put the link to this video in the description down here. Let me do that now before I forget. There we go. There's a YouTube video right there. So, yeah, that is the whole reason right there, is because they got cash money. And again, something we knew already. I mean, the contracts have to be great for people like Phoenix Point, or for companies like Phoenix Point or Coffee Stain to be doing this. Who are the guys? Deep Silver, I think, is who made Metro Exodus. Whoever made a Metro Exodus, I think, is Deep Silver. Might have to look that up again later. But it's just money. That's the only reason you would put your game exclusively on an untested platform that people hate, that has already been factually found to have been spying on people, taking or stealing their data and uploading it against their wishes. That is the only reason a game studio would do that. One, it makes me wonder how these studios' futures are going to be, what their futures are going to look like, because people are paying attention to this. Now, I'm not saying that the masses as a whole are really caring about this. I'm sure probably most people don't even care where it says, like, okay, this game is out, it's only on Epic, okay, fine, I'll download Epic. Don't even know the issues with Epic. They're just going to download it and play it regardless. But at the same time, there's plenty of people that are like, I don't want to download another launcher. I personally don't. I've got all my Steam or games on Steam as it is. I don't feel like, I mean, besides my MMOs and Apex, and I hadn't even played Apex in a while, you know my issues with it. But besides my MMOs, I mean, I got all my games on Steam. I got one spot for them. That's how I like to have my games. But yeah, I really wonder about the future of these companies. Nobody's going to trust Phoenix Point after what the hell they pulled, and they were crowdfunded. So imagine all the backers that essentially got screwed over and were used, or they were used. They were used and then lied to, and then thrown to the side, and then the company said, yeah, we lied to you. If you don't like it, ask for a refund. We're financially stable now. Fuck you guys. That's literally what they said. Well, not literally, but that's essentially what they said. These guys, Coffee Stain, I'm definitely not. I actually was planning, like, I was ready to buy the game after I watched some other guys play it, and then I saw it was on the Epic launch, and I'm like, not only am I not going to buy it on that launcher, I'm never going to buy the game at all now. Fuck these guys. I mean, unless something just absolutely miraculous happens, and they say, sorry, we were stupid, we're breaking our contract, we pulled our heads out of our asses, here's your Steam copy, then I'm never going to buy this game, even when it comes out on Steam. Fuck these guys. And I'll be making sure that I check out any other games these guys are making and steer clear of them. Same with Phoenix Point. Who else? I had a list of games here. Again, I'm never going to buy another Metro game again after what they pulled. I didn't even care about Metro Exodus, honestly. I didn't even hear good things about it. I did play the first Metro, enjoyed it quite a bit. Thought about buying the second Metro. Then I heard about what they did, you know, that 1-year exclusivity. Fuck them. Outer Worlds, I'm not going to lie, I'm still interested in it. I might buy it on a Microsoft store just to be facetious, but we'll see. But there's a possibility I might not buy it either. We'll see. Again, the only game I actually care about is the Outer Worlds. Well, I cared about Satisfactory, but you get my point. I mean, oh, and Borderlands 3 is apparently going to be an Epic Store exclusive now, too. So, yeah, all this... I wonder how long this is going to last. Besides the fact that people aren't going to trust these companies now, how long is this business model going to last? Because the Epic game launcher and Epic Games are on a time limit to make this launcher work for them. Let's say tomorrow Fortnite just drops off and dies. Nobody plays anymore. Their revenue dries up like that. They're not going to have the money to keep injecting into these other games to get these exclusivity deals anymore. So basically, they've got until Fortnite dies, or that money dries up, or something happens with microtransactions where they can't do anymore or something. We'll see. We're going to talk about that in a little bit too. Basically, they've got until that Fortnite money dries up to make this launcher work for them using what they're doing right now. People are really pissed about these exclusivity deals, and they're actively fighting it right now. I mean, people are just flat out refusing to buy games. Again, these companies don't care because, as the guy just said, I mean, they're getting cash money. They're getting money given to them to sign these deals. They got 1-year contracts. So once the Fortnite money dries up, if they haven't got this launcher up to snuff, and if they haven't actually made a real name for themselves and have enough games on their launcher to make it worth people going there, then the launcher is just going to die. I mean, maybe not die, but they're not going to be able to take these games and just make them exclusive anymore, which is going to put Steam back in the lead. Now, Steam is working on trying to unfuck themselves too, seeing what's happening with Epic, but, I mean, that's a good thing, but Epic is on a time limit here. And that's not to say that, you know, Fortnite's going to die tomorrow. This is pretty much the hottest game on the planet right now. But, probably FIFA would be, I don't know. But, again, they are on a very strict time. I mean, the gaming community is fickle. I mean, right now it's battle royale games, which is what Fortnite is. We saw what happened with PUBG. I mean, I don't know how many people are playing it right now, but I'm pretty sure it's still pretty popular. Apex and Fortnite are pretty much some of the top games out on the market right now. And before that, it was a survival crafting genre. We still got plenty of survival crafting games coming out, but they've died off quite a bit. Now you got to be really, really unique in these games. I mean, imagine if Fallout 76 had come out, you know, 4 years ago. Even in the state it's in now, it'd probably be doing a whole lot better than it is now. People just aren't having it. Just because it was a survival crafting game, and back then they were just the shit. Right now it's battle royale. Tomorrow a new type of game may drop and just take over the industry like that again too, and then these guys are all going to be stuck twiddling their thumbs, trying to play catch up or something. But as of right now, that's where we're at with the Epic game launch. I mean, that just kind of pissed me off yesterday, and I was kind of let it slide. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll do my little protest. I won't buy the game. Then we get another, and these stories have been dropping since the game launched, the issues with Anthem, but a huge story dropped from Kotaku, written by Jason Schreier. And again, this came out on Tuesday, actually. I just found out about it yesterday. But again, say what you will about him, Jason Schreier does really good work. But he goes to talk about how, and this is the title actually, how BioWare's Anthem went wrong. This article is long. I mean, this is the article right here. I mean, normally you read an article, it's probably done right about here. This thing goes on for a while. He did a lot of research, dug into exactly what happened with Anthem, and it is pretty much everything you could think that could go wrong with the game went wrong with it. Anthem was being developed for 6 years or so, and apparently they had the same problem as Destiny 2. They basically made the game in about between 9 and 18 months. So all the shit that we saw in the E3 trailers when we knew that it was just pre-rendered footage, all the talk about, you know, how Anthem's doing, or all the talk about this is what the game's going to be, all of it was literal bullshit. I mean, It's a Gundam did a really good job. I just watched an hour-long video where he dug into this, but the actual issues here with the Anthem game aren't what I want to talk about, because there's a running theme with AAA games right now, and actually just gaming in general, that I want to get to. And again, I will be doing a much better job when I make my scripted video. Today it's just I want to do this live stream and kind of get it out there. This is what's going on, and kind of this is where my mindset is when it comes to gaming right now. But yeah, he tears these guys apart. I mean, all the dirty little secrets coming out. I mean, he's talking about employees that are breaking down and having to just like leave the room and cry. People having to take sabbaticals because they're so stressed out, like insane working conditions. It's insane. But that brought me back to what happened with Destiny 2, when we found out that Destiny 2 had been rebooted and was made basically 16 months before launch. All these big AAA games that are coming out that are releasing with nothing in it. Hey there, Game Mercenary. Why is that chest, please, still can't see? Why is that chat, please, still can't see? Sorry. Oh, sorry there, Game. Yeah, that sucks there. I don't know why, man. I don't know why it's not working on you for Google. Yeah, sorry. One of my viewers can't see what's going on here. He's having issues trying to watch a stream. Still on Google. How are you watching? And I gotta type back to him because he can see the chat. He can type in chat, but he can't see the actual video. On a computer. And actually, you know what? I might do something live here. Gaming Mercenary has been one of my longest running viewers. I might see if he wants to hop in Discord and chat with. Yeah, so I'm waiting for him to respond. But yeah, that reminded me what happened Destiny 2. And that made me realize pretty much, okay, I'm currently making a zombie prison break map on Far Cry. And yes, wait, I got an idea. I'll see. Okay, so we'll see if we can do this. Let's see. Okay, let me know if you want to join in on the stream. Let me know and meet me in my Discord. So let me go ahead and open my Discord real quick. But I'm noticing a pattern with all these big AAA games, and that they're, you know, this, and we knew they did this. I think Watch Dogs was the first time I'd ever seen this myself personally. But these huge, you know, big budget games that, you know, look all great for E3, and we find out they're pre-rendered trailers, or that they change the games and lower down the graphics before they actually release. That's been fairly common now. and more we're seeing that these games that are supposedly in development for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years in the case of Anthem, are literally, I don't know what they do for like the first few years, but they literally just dick around and have to rush the game out, basically incomplete at the last minute. I'm gonna watch a stream on Xbox. What's another one? No Man's Sky. That was another one. No Man's Sky was touted as being this huge open universe, which admittedly it was, game where you were never going to see the same thing twice. But when we got the game upon release, yes, it was true, but there were a ton of missing features in the game. There was really no gameplay loop once you got your max ship, and everything, even though technically you didn't see the same things, it was all the same. It was just the same mixed around parts, just randomly generated. Planets weren't that interesting, and all you did was kind of cruise around and go to the middle. There was no gameplay loop. It was devoid of anything in game. Granted, No Man's Sky has become much better since release, but that's no excuse for selling an incomplete game. That's what Destiny 2 was. That is what Division 1 was when it came out. That is what Anthem is right now. I've got buddies of mine who say Anthem has become the new game. That was a month ago. I hadn't even checked to see how the game is now, but I've seen what's been going on. There was nothing to do in the game. I mean, I checked even the weapons. Apparently they don't. I mean, apparently the weapons suck to look at. There's nothing really unique about them. And again, I haven't played Anthem. I'm not going to buy that piece. I'm not buying that dumpster fire. I don't care how many of my friends play it. I'm not going to do it. But so many of these games have essentially become early access games, but they have like these $1 million budgets where all you see are, you know, Anthem commercials. Like every other commercial I saw on YouTube was Anthem, Anthem, Anthem. Before Destiny 2 came out, it was Destiny 2, Destiny 2, Destiny 2, The Division, Division, Division. All of these games have these huge budgets, but then when they come out, there's nothing there. There's nothing there, and on top of that, they have the goal to fill the game with microtransactions. Just tons and tons of microtransactions. Destiny 2 was probably the real big offender in my case, going from Destiny 1, who they kind of introduced microtransactions near the end of the game's life cycle, and Destiny 2, suddenly things that we got for free in Destiny 1 is like shaders. You earn shaders, you know, doing missions and, you know, beating raids. Suddenly shaders not only had to be purchased in microtransactions, but they're one-time use. I mean, they improved upon the shader system by letting you shade individual pieces of your gear, which is something we wanted, but now shaders become one-time use items. You update gear so often in that game, and some of these shaders are so hard to get or cost so much, you get them and you don't want to use them, so you just hold on to your shaders. Before I quit playing Destiny 2, I had tons of shaders that were really rare and cool looking, but I didn't want to put them on my gear because what if I use this one set of awesome shaders today, and then next week a really cool set of gear comes out and I want to use the shaders for it, but I don't have them. So, don't smoke. So that's just an example of taking away something we had before and locking it behind a paywall. Devil May Cry 5 came out, and apparently it's got tons of microtransactions in it too. It's not even a multiplayer game. It's a single-player story, and it's got microtransactions in it. And what's the other one? A really big offender, Deus Ex. I think it was Human Revolution or one of the Deus Exes. It was another single-player with just tons of microtransactions. It makes no sense to have microtransactions in a single-player game, but publishers are still trying to pull that one too, and we're seeing it more and more in these multiplayer games. If you look at any huge multiplayer game, okay, awesome, Gaming got it. Welcome there, Gaming. Glad you can glad you see the stream. If you look at any huge multiplayer game coming out right now, and most of the games coming out from these huge publishers in the States are multiplayer. I mean, Spider-Man wasn't. God of War wasn't. Past that, I can't think of anything really that's not multiplayer or another freaking battle royale game. They've all got microtransactions, even if they're premium $60 games that have, you know, tons of different DLCs or pre-order bonuses or special editions. They've still got the gall to charge $60 minimum for these games, and that's just for your basic editions, and still have microtransactions in these games. It is insane that they can do this. And people are just going along with it and rolling over and taking it. I had a buddy of mine back in Destiny, I think it was Destiny 1. It's when I really started paying attention to microtransactions and loot boxes. And I I remember it said something along the lines of, okay, time to drop $60 on some loot boxes or something. I'm like, why would you possibly do that? That's insane. He's like, well, I got the money, no big deal. He didn't get crap out of him, first off, and I just remember thinking, that's insane. You just basically paid for the game again for loot boxes when you're gonna get what, maybe a speeder out of it that's the same speed as everything else you've already gotten. Like that's when it really started hitting home with me. But yeah, these AAA games now, they're essentially $1 million or multi-million-dollar marketed games, or they have millions of dollars marketed. Okay, can I say this just about? Yeah, exactly. Don't buy them. But these games have millions of dollars behind their marketing, millions of dollars, and the publishers apparently have a lot more pull on how these games are designed than I thought. But they've got millions of dollars behind them, but they're essentially early access games that have nothing in them. And again, AAA is not the only people that do this. A couple other games, and I've played 3 out of the 4 games on this list, by the way. Luckily, I got them all on sale, so not a big deal. But Empyrean is it's an indie game that has been in alpha for I don't know how long. 7 Days to Die, still in alpha. They just dropped Alpha 17 not too long ago, like a few months ago. Haven't bothered to pick it up or to play it again. I've owned the game, but haven't bothered to play it again. Ark, that was one that was in alpha and beta for a long time. I used to play on the official early access servers for Ark. That was insane. By the way, Ark's still isn't fixed. There's still tons of bugs in there. Another reason that I haven't gone back to the official servers, I never will. I got my own servers for it now when I play it. The Forest, it's one that I've got friends who play that one. It's another one that's early access. Space Engineers, that one was in alpha and beta for a very long time. I think they finally had an official release. I don't think you can really call something officially released until the game is actually done. If you're still adding in major bug fixes and features to the game a year after you've got an official release, not even adding in more content, adding in basic stuff to the game, you're not officially released. It's still early access. That early access title has essentially become a catch-all for bugs and issues with your game. It's an excuse to release your game half-ass, regardless of what title you have, whether it be AAA, AA, something like Warframe, or whether you be an indie developer. Now, indie developers they can get away with it a little bit more. Well, I should say, they could get away with it a little bit more than the AAA guys could, just because the whole idea of an early access release is to release the build you have of the game, at a severely marked down price, like half off, maybe 10%. If a game is going to cost $60 upon release, you charge 10 or 20 for it now. And then you have people play the game. When it's released, you get the full game. You've bought it early on, so they don't charge you extra. But those players help you fix your game. They help you add content in the game. You give them feedback, they make changes, and then the game evolves from there. The problem is with any developers, you can go months and years without any significant developments on a game. And I mean, there are some games like, again, Empyrean, 7 Days to Die. It could be 5-10 years from now before those games are officially done or officially released. And as they stand now, the developers can actually just stop working on the game. What consequences are they going to face? I mean, most of the people that are going to buy the games have already bought them. They've made most of their money. So right now, we're pretty much just going on faith that they're going to finish these games. And right now, it's the same for these AAA games. The only difference is they have such a bigger market. They've got so much more money for marketing, and they packed them so full of microtransactions that they can basically release a shitty game, fill it with microtransactions, get everybody hyped up, and then make all their money up front, and then it doesn't really matter if they fix the game or not. They've made their money. Who cares? And what's really bad is there'll be a lot of people that are excited about a game, not really, I don't really want to say be in the know, but not really pay attention to what's going on with said game, like say Anthem. And after they buy the game, they realize that shit, they have to basically defend their purchase to themselves, which means that they will fanboy or argue that a game is really good, even though objectively there's nothing to do in it. It's a shit game. But they will argue that it's a good game anyway because they spent money on the game. They've got to defend their purchase. I'll be one of the first people to say I bought 76 when it came out. I bought it early access, so I was in the beta. I was going to buy it regardless, but I probably still would have bought it because it's a Fallout game. We'll get into that in a little bit. Meme EA 2210. Buy our game. You have to pay $200 to play each mission or map, but you get in the next hour discount. It is $1 off. And the thing is, too, gaming, you're saying that, but I can actually see that being a thing, too. Matter of fact, that kind of ties into, that's something that kind of literally happens. Episodic games that come out by episode. I think the recent Hitman came out by episode. Oh yeah, Telltale Games, their Walking Dead series was being released by episode, and then their company went under. Matter of fact, I don't know what even happened to that. Let's look that up now. I know I spelled this wrong. How do you actually spell it? There we go. Telltale Games. Did Walking Dead ever get finished? Okay, looks like they did finish the final seasons. Well, they said they were going to. Deal to reach Walking Dead. But this is when it was back in October of last year. Telltale Games basically went under. They were releasing their Walking Dead game. They were releasing it by episode, and basically, as far as I know, you're paying per episode. So yeah, not too far off from what you were doing, or what you said they're gaming. Now it won $200 per episode, but yeah, there are plenty of games that release episodically. You pay per episode. I don't know the price range for all these episodes, but yeah, it's essentially basically another form of early access game. You're releasing the game bit by bit, paying for those episodes, or you pay for them all up front, and then they get released slowly, and there's no guarantee you're going to actually get all of your game. What's happening more and more, just kind of as a whole with gaming, is that games are just coming out unfinished with nothing in them, and then we're just supposed to hope that the game gets better later on down the road, or that the game actually gets finished. Like right now, how many people have played Anthem that have stopped playing it and are never going to come back to it? They basically paid for a game that was unfinished. It's a Gundam, a YouTuber I watch quite a bit. I think he said it best. If companies like EA or Bethesda were car companies, they go under. I mean, imagine if you bought a brand new car. This car had been modeled, it was going to be the greatest car ever. This damn thing flew. It can go into space, or even, let's not even go too crazy. Let's say it's just a basic car. Let's say Honda, and they make a new car. It gets, 50 miles to the gallon. It, does all these things, all these safety features. It's, the best car ever. It comes in all these different colors. And it's for, this, $20,000 or whatever. Okay. Sounds awesome. Sounds like a good investment. You buy the car, and then it turns out that the car doesn't have an AC in it. It's got no CD player or radio. It only comes with 3 out of the 4 tires. 2 of the windows come broken, and you just have to basically wait for them to fix your car for you. You basically spent all this money on a car that's a shit car. That's like the best analogy I can think of right now. I mean, he did say it best. I mean, if this was any other... Matter of fact, let's go in the same medium. Let's go, not necessarily video games, let's go movies, okay? Everybody loves the Avenger movies, okay? Let's say The Last Avenger comes out, okay? Everybody's been hyping it up, Infinity Wars, the second part's coming out. It's going to be the shit. It's being hyped up. Now, imagine, it's going to be a 2.5, 3-hour movie. You buy your ticket, movie gets released, you get inside the movie, and 3 of the characters aren't there. Captain America, Iron Man, and hell, Thanos aren't even in the movie. They're going to come later on, they tell us. Half the scenes skip, 2 whole scenes are missing, and the sound doesn't work. You would ask for your money back, and nobody would go see another movie like that. Is the kind of shit that we're dealing with in gaming right now. No other medium, no other product would you willingly buy a broken game, or is it acceptable to release a game? Like, imagine an early access movie. Like, think about that. Like, imagine buying an early access animation movie. Imagine buying Aladdin back in the day, and all it was stick figures with no music. That's what gaming is right now. It's all early access crap, and we just have to assume they're going to fix this stuff later on down the line. And again, and we're seeing what's happening behind the scenes too. Part of this article that Jason Schreier wrote, and I encourage everyone to read it. Just the synapse that I've been reading and listening to from other YouTubers. I'm actually trying to read this whole thing tonight. But just the synapse that It's a Gundam went over took him an hour to get through. And again, this is the article right here from Edition Shroud. This thing is, I think it's like 12,000 words or somebody said, something like that. I think it's bigger than that. But this thing is huge. We get a good look behind the scenes of what's happening with these companies. I mean, we're talking about every bad working condition you can think of was basically in BioWare. I mean, people were breaking down from stress. People were literally crying. Nobody talking to each other. Nobody even knew what this game was supposed to be while they were working on it. Basically, mechanics were added into the game, and nobody knew they were going to actually stay part of the game. Like, here's, I guess, one of the original photos of what Anthem was supposed to look like or something. It was originally supposed to be a completely different game than what it is now. Yeah, like Mercenaries 2 was literally broke from release. In fact, it was forgotten over, you know, just cause. Oh, yeah, I remember Mercenaries. Oh, man, that was a horrible one from what I hear. I mean, even ports to games too. Like, I think it was Arkham Asylum that had the really shitty PC port that has become a meme now. I forgot which Batman it was, but I know there have been plenty of shitty ports for games too. But that's what's basically been accepted in the gaming community now. And there are plenty of people speaking out against it. The problem is there are plenty of people that don't do research or don't even pay attention to, I mean, basic YouTube. I mean, if you look up any kind of game video, you're going to start seeing articles pop up like this. You're going to see people talking about what's going on. Loot boxes are another huge one. I mean, they're starting to get banned in countries. I really hope that I really hope the industry regulates itself. I really doubt it is. I think it is going to take government intervention. I mean, FIFA has been released. It's basically the same game every year. That is EA's, you know, big money maker right there. It's making like $1 billion a year just in microtransactions. And it's the same damn game every year, and people are sinking, you know, hundreds and thousands of dollars into this game, and they're essentially playing the same game. I mean, think of how much money was spent on Grand Theft Auto 5. I mean, at least Grand Theft Auto 5 wasn't the same game. I mean, yeah, same game premise as the Grand Theft Auto series, but there were tons of microtransactions in it. I mean, the shark cards you could buy for GTA Online. I know Red Dead Redemption Online is going after that same model. I saw some of the beta footage of that where people were talking about just how insane the microtransactions were. Not only, you know, how long it took to grind up for stuff, but just how much stuff costs in general, and with no content in it. I mean, that's what games have been moving to for a long time. I mean, there are some games that are still out there, like Warframe. Again, that's kind of my go-to game for comparison with microtransactions. There are some that do it right. I mean, Warframe doesn't have loot boxes. I mean, you basically spend a few bucks, you can buy whatever you want, and even if you buy any item outright, it's still not going to help you at all unless you actually get good at the game and actually play the game. Things like mods, you're not going to be able to buy the mods you want, you know, from their store. You're going to have to buy them from players. There's an actual in-game economy where you can trade premium currency, something that you rarely find in games outside of, you know, a few mobile games. But really where you see the ability to have a player-run economy in a game. My wife back there smokes. Cough, cough, Far Cry 2, so enraging. See, I didn't play Far Cry 2. But, let me wait for you to get done. So I gotta cover my mic while she's doing this. Sorry, I had to cover my mic when my wife was packing her smokes. I don't think she realized what she was doing. But, yeah, I mean, it is insane. And the entire industry is being propped up by these microtransactions, too. Until people stop buying them. And again, I'm not saying that you shouldn't monetize your game, and I want to be very clear on this. I always come back to Warframe as my model for monetization because they monetize it the way a free-to-play game should be monetized. I'm not even saying it's a bad thing to have loot boxes in a free-to-play game. Apex Legends, it's free, it's fun. After, you know, a few days, you can unlock the characters that are locked. There was only a couple that were actually locked, although it's getting worse now they have the season pass. It's slowly rolled downhill. It's going to roll out of control, but even that's not too bad. Warframe is my pinnacle of what I compare it to because there's no loot boxes. You can outright buy what you want. The game has actually got content in it. There are some things that are locked behind not a paywall but a time wall. Like, for example, you can only get so much faction rep for your your faction 2,500 points a day and it resets the next day. Okay, fine. If you run out of faction rep, there are literally hundreds of other things you can go do. Besides leveling up warframes, you can grind for the warframe parts. Yes, it does take time to build them. You can use premium currency to fast build them, you know, to get past that timer. There are some things that you can't get past. I mean, you can't unlock the ability to get more rep than anyone else in the day. You can't buy your way past that. So some timers are just, they're locked. Not something I personally like, but you don't want to be able to exploit some of the stuff too, because there are some powerful things behind it. You want to actually build up that stuff. Excuse me. But you can literally buy, and it's also a bit unique too, I'm not going to lie, but you can literally buy whatever you want for the most part in the game as far as frames and most weapons. You can buy any warframe you want, like $3 to $5. Not that much for a whole new character that has a whole new moveset in the game. Maybe a little steep for some people. Okay, understandable. You can buy any weapon you want. Admittedly, some are expensive for how little they do. But even if you do all that, it's going to do you no good if you don't actually play the game for hours and level up. And there's tons of stuff to do. You can actually get everything in game legitimately. If you want, you can earn premium currency in game from players. I've made thousands of the currency, which is quite a bit, tens of thousands, playing the game and trading with other people. So you don't actually have to buy the currency if you don't want to. I know plenty of people with basically everything you can get in the game have never spent a dime on it. I know some people who have spent hundreds and thousands of dollars on the game and they completely suck at it. You can't buy skill in that game. Oh yeah, Redemption 2 online is math, but you may get pissed like 99 out of 100 will blow your goddamn head off if you're not famous. Oh yeah, it doesn't shock me. I mean, I kind of assume that's pretty much any game where you give people the ability to kill people without any repercussions. Yeah, that's gonna happen. Yeah, especially these days when people are used to playing stuff like Fortnite too. I mean that's what you play online for, is to versus people. I mean that's the whole point of most multiplayer games like that. But that I can understand. But the microtransactions and no content, I can't. But what's happening right now is that these AAA games are trying to do the free-to-play model for the monetization while still charging a premium currency. And again, actually, I think I may have just quoted Jim Sterling, or I think I just quoted about 10,000 other YouTubers. But just for the record, I watch a lot of Jim Sterling. I watch a lot of It's a Gundam. I watch Young Ye. I watch Sid Alpha. I watch who else do I watch? I watch quite a few YouTubers. So if I do say any quotes or use any phrases that are specific to them, I'm not trying to copyright them. I do have other sources as well, and I do watch these YouTubers quite a bit. I do suggest you guys check them out as well. They usually do a pretty good job, usually a better job than I can. And they don't pull any punches either. But yeah, that's what they're doing. They're charging premium plus prices, actually, because a lot of games have these special editions that cost hundreds of dollars and you don't get really anything extra except for a skin in them, and they're still doing extra monetization for their game. And the reason that's working is that they're making all these multiplayer type games like Anthem, where you want to show off your armor to people, so they're selling skins. So that's the stuff that they're selling you. They're not selling you flat out weapons for the most part. They're not selling you whole new javelins for the most part. And again, some are, but for the most part they're selling skins. They're showing stuff to show off. And then of course you can earn everything in game. I'm going to take Fallout 76 for an example. Their Atom store, you can technically earn atoms in game. Here's a problem with that though. When you play through the game, when you do the story, you earn a significantly larger amount of atoms for doing these one-time story missions than you do for the daily and weekly events. What do I mean by that? By the time I was done with the game, I was able to buy 2 power armor paint jobs. I just had to do a little bit more grinding, doing some weeklies and dailies. I was able to buy a couple of awesome paint jobs. After that, I was broke, no big deal. There's nothing else in the store I wanted, and that's me personally. Then they released an all-black paint job. I just bought, I think, the American flag paint job or something. Well, lo and behold, literally the next day they came out with an all-black paint job for a limited time only. It was not possible for me to get enough atoms in game to buy this paint job before it was gone. presumably forever. I guess there's going to be a rotation for it or something, but I have no idea when it's going to come back. So it's either I go without the paint job, which is what I did. I've never sunk any money by items in Fallout 76. But it's either go without the paint job or sink money into the game to get it before it's gone. Now, here's the thing. These timed events is another way that, it's another way that they get you to buy these microtransactions. They put a sense of urgency by making these sales, or by making, or not necessarily sales. If you got an item, you want to put it on sale and then keep it in the market, fine. Okay, that is an actual sale. It's the same thing with real life items. You want to buy a microwave, it's on sale one day, boom, buy it. A week later, it goes back to normal price. Okay, fine, there was a sale for it. In this case, it's not that they're just putting items on sale. They're putting items on sale, and it's the only time you can get those items. Or they will have special events where there is literally not enough time to earn all the in-game currency to buy the items. So the only way to get these limited time items is to use real world money. And quite often, you're spending as much, if not more money than you did for the actual game itself to get these cosmetic items that once the game is gone or the server shut down, you're not going to have anymore. Loot boxes is another one. And again, there's been tons of videos about loot boxes. I mean, it's essentially gambling. It gives you the same feeling as gambling. You know, it hits you in the endorphins, or it gives you endorphins. It's whatever. That's another way. But I can see a lot of places are trying to move away from loot boxes because loot boxes have become such a terrible term, which they always were. It's just got a lot more media attention now thanks to Battlefront 2. Luckily, Battlefront 2 happened. I'm not upset it happened. It sucks that we're not getting any good Star Wars games, but I am glad that they tried to push out Battlefront 2 in the state it was in on launch, because that brought loot boxes so much to the forefront. So now people or these companies are trying to stay away from pay-to-win type loot boxes, or they're trying to set it up to where their loot boxes, you can never get the same item twice, so you're always getting something new. But then they're using the model like with Apex Legends, where you may not get anything new. Or I think what was it, Overwatch did this first, or they were pretty prevalent with it. You don't get duplicate items, but there are so many different items in the game to get. There is like a 0.0001% chance you're going to get something you actually want. And they pack these games, like Apex Legends, for example. They've got everything locked. I mean, your kill counter. Kill counters are per character. So there's a kill counter for each different character. You know, Bangalore has a different one than Bloodhound does. There are kill counters for specific weapons. There are borders. There are tons of skins for the weapons. There are tons of skins for the actual characters. There's different trackers on there. There's like hundreds and thousands of things that you'll get out of these loot boxes. And you earn the boxes so slow that you're just not going to get everything unless either A, you're super good at the game and you're racking up 5, 10, 15 loot boxes a day. Unlikely unless you're playing all damn day. Or you're sinking tons of money into the game. Let's see. Fortnite and Red Dead Redemption 2 is Gun Rush, and Battlefield it's Firestorm, Call of Duty Blackout. What will Halo Infinite be? Call for its Battle Royale solo, can't wait. Yeah, no kidding. And I talked about this a little bit earlier in the in my stream too. It's like everyone's going Battle Royale right now. Now, I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing. I mean, you chase industry trends. Whether or not you hit them in time and get your marketing done right and you get people playing your game is a question. Before Battle Royale, it was what? Crafting Survival. Before that, I couldn't really tell you what it was, but Crafting Survival was a big one there for some years. Now it's Battle Royale. After this, who knows what it's going to be. I'd say probably going to be something along the lines of VR or some kind of maybe simulated living game. Who knows? I mean, VR is becoming more and more prevalent now. It's starting to become cheaper. People play VR chat quite a bit, and it's not even really a game. It's just literally a chat room where you can make yourself an avatar. It still looks pretty fun. But VR games are becoming very prevalent now, so maybe something along the lines of VR is going to become the next thing. But, I mean, everywhere you look, there's nowhere good to look for gaming. I mean, that's really where kind of hit home. I mean, that Anthem article, seeing it kind of hammered everything home right now. I mean, we've got companies like Epic Games that are buying up exclusive rights to games and forcing people to use their launcher to get it, even though it's a shit launcher and they were essentially stealing people's data. There are companies that are basically flat out admitting, and again, we don't need them to admit it, we know why they're doing it, but they're making these decisions based on how much money they can squeeze out of the game. And again, I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. I mean, you make a game because, I mean, hopefully you like doing it, but especially for smaller publishers, I mean, I hope you like doing it, but it is a business. You want to make money. Okay, fine. But I am then baffled as to why people like Phoenix Point or Obsidian would actually make the decisions that they made. And again, I know it's not Obsidian's fault, it's their publisher, but why would they make the decisions that they made to make money now in the short run, when in the long run, people are going to hate them for it, especially if this launcher fails. These games are basically, whether they live or die, is going to be dependent upon this launcher. So basically, all these games are dependent on Fortnite right now, which is kind of funny. Yeah, I mean, and then we're finding out more and more that these games are being rushed out too. Either we get games that are early access and we get updates extremely slow, like your 7 Days or your Empyreans. And again, both games I play, both games I enjoy, but after a while there's just nothing more to do. You hit a literal brick wall and you're like, well, what the fuck's the point now? Or you have games like, I mean, Anthem or Destiny 2, or even No Man's Sky, because they've got like the longest burn, slowest burn right now, where they supposedly spent years on these games. You would think they would release with freaking every possible feature you can think of, and it turns out that they basically dicked around for years on end and then rushed and made a game and just shat it out, and they want us to wait, you know, another year or two to when the game is actually good, but they want our money right now up front. So, and stuck in the middle are the gamers, where no matter where you look, these games suck. I mean, all this turns into games that are sucking right now. Either there's nothing to do in the game. Actually, that's what it is. There's nothing to do in the game. They're broken, nothing to do, no real content, no real story. It's just slap people in an online arena and give them a new skin, and that's all the shit is. And then sprinkle in microtransactions. There's nothing else really past that. I mean, I can't think of any games right now that I really want to play. Like, I'm playing Star Wars right now, I'm enjoying it, but from these big AAA companies, I can't think of anything. Like, there's nothing coming up that I'm excited about. Let's see. Also, Battlefield 1 gave me about 200 freaking loot boxes. How? I don't know. They may buy up the rights to Halo, Master Chief Collection on PC. I may start a protest outside their office causing as much legal chaos. Yeah, I'm curious as to how the Master Chief Collection is going to do as well. First off, I mean, I can't even really lie and say I'm excited about Halo. I mean, it's been a long time since I even cared about playing Halo, first off. They definitely dragged that series out a bit longer than they should have, but, I mean, it was still fun. I enjoyed playing it. But I can't say I'm super excited to play it again on PC. I mean, it's the same games. I mean, that's another thing that the industry is doing right now. They're just re-releasing old games on different systems, or remastering them and then re-releasing them. All they're doing is recycling the same thing, and they're going to get a ton of money from this. I can guarantee it. They're going to make a shit ton of money, and it's just the cycle's going to continue. I mean, I can imagine this maybe 15, 20 years down the line. People are, Destiny 3 is come and gone. It was a shit game or something. They're going to release, the Destiny Redone collection, where they re-release all the Destiny games or something, forgetting that they were shit. Or, they re-release Fallout 76 or No Man's Sky. I mean, any of these games. Or, maybe Empyrean is finally finished and no one cares anymore. I mean, I'm at a loss right now. I mean, I love gaming. I really do. But it occurred to me it's getting harder and harder to find something I actually want to play. And it's not even that hard to please me, really. But I don't want to play a game and spend $60 on it when there's nothing to fucking do in it. I also don't want to wait for years on end for a game to be finished either. I went ahead and got and you guys know, you guys saw me play it, I got the Subnautica Sub-Zero expansion. Right now I'm basically giving them a chance. I mean, they made an awesome first game. I know originally they weren't planning to do this, but it got received so well. I'm hoping they finish up this map fairly quickly and fairly well. I really hope it doesn't turn into another 7 Days to Die or something like that, where it takes them 2-3 years to make this map, especially since they've already got a lot of the assets already, so they should have this done a lot quicker. If they drag their feet on this, then the company's done with me. I'm not giving companies second chances anymore like this. I've got faith in them right now, but we'll see what happens. But I'm just done. I mean, there are some games I still like playing, but they're not games that are new. I mean, they're old games. And what's killing me too is that a lot of the games that are coming out that people like streaming are games that honestly don't look like. I mean, they're creative. What is that mountain climber game where that guy's trying to climb up a mountain with a hammer when he's sitting in the cauldron? It looks interesting. I can't imagine it was super hard to make it. Looks fun, don't get me wrong, but I'm not seeing anything really unique or new. And I mean, yeah, that's all it is. I mean, it's just depressing looking at the gaming landscape right now. There's still stuff I like playing, and I'm going to keep playing it, but looking at the future, I can't see anything really cool. One of the biggest issues I was having, too, is I was hoping to have... I mean, I got Destiny 2 when it came out. I got 76. I was hoping there'd be a game that would help me build my channel that I could play, that a lot of people like. You know, I can hop on it. I can give my expertise on it. I'm good at games. I was hoping I would kind of be able to, you know, make some tips and tricks guides on a game that I like playing, you know, but there's been nothing for me to do that with. 76 has been absolute shit. I played it quite a bit, but it was so broken. I mean, how can you give tips and tricks to a game that, again, isn't even fully released? I'm not going to get Anthem. Destiny 2 was horrible. There's been nothing that I've really been excited to hop on and play. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm just kind of running down. I may go watch some Red Dead Redemption 2. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I'm at right now. I mean, that's kind of what this whole stream was about today, is kind of giving you my thoughts about what gaming looks like right now. And it's getting more depressing, man. When you start seeing, I mean, indie developers used to kind of be seen as the saviors of gaming, damn near. I mean, it was a place to go. When AAA screwed you over, you know, the indie publishers, they had your back. You know, they made stuff like Minecraft. They made stuff like, well, I can't even think of a bunch of titles off the top of my head, but they made, you know, a ton of good games. You know, they were small companies that, you know, made some cool games. You know, had some creative ideas. And now even all of them, I mean, it's all crafting survival games now. I mean, you hear indie game, the first thing you think is either going to be some crafting survival game that's in early access, or some game where you play a small child that is basically doing the Mario thing, going from left to right on the screen with a few enemies, but it's supposed to be all episodic and you know, mystical on some weird journey or whatever. And it's just a small kid, basically. You're playing Mario with a small kid and some fancy music. I can't think of anything else past that. So that's just my thoughts right now. Like I said, I still got a actual scripted video coming out, going over the Epic Games Store. There's been some interesting developments, and again, the Game Satisfactory. That's another one that's just on my list of fuck this game. I'm not gonna support a developer that doesn't give me a choice on how I want to play a fucking game. So we'll see. Borderlands 3 is definitely one that's off my list now. The Outer Worlds, maybe, we'll see. Not buying Metro Exodus. It's one I'd actually thought about buying. I'd actually thought about buying the Metro Last Light too. I'm glad I didn't, because I'm not going to support them for doing that shit either. But I mean, that's where I am right now. So that's been Venom Talks. Thank you all for coming by. I'll be playing Star Wars: The Republic. We're going to continue on our story here tomorrow. Like I said, I have not progressed without you guys. We will continue playing through the Republic storyline, or one of them anyway. And we'll see how it goes. I might play through the others as well, but there's 4 stories over there. I've never played all the way through on the Republic side. I've got like 16 Sith characters, so I've played on the Empire a lot, but not so much on the Republic side. So other than that, I'll be streaming probably at least at the same time tomorrow, if not 9 p.m. Central. I might start earlier than that at 8 p.m. Central. We'll see. Kind of playing a game like this, an MMO, I like to have a little bit more time to play through. But other than that, thank you all for coming by, and I will see you all tomorrow.